You're not losing great people to big tech because of salary alone. You're losing them because you're copying big tech hiring behavior without the big tech resources, and the two things are not interchangeable. I've watched leaders with smaller comp bands consistently beat leaders with bigger ones. Not occasionally, consistently. The difference isn't money, it's structure. It's what they're actually putting on the table when they ask someone to join their team. There's one specific trap that mid-market leaders fall into when they can't match salary, and it doesn't just fail to close candidates, it actively repels the strong ones. I'm going to show you exactly what it is before this video ends. To get there, we're covering 3 levers, 1 case study, and that trap. Most mid-market leaders are already losing candidates before compensation ever comes up. They're running a slow, vague, over-engineered process and expecting strong people to wait around. 6 rounds of interviews, comp range held until round 5, scope described in abstractions. Big tech can sometimes survive that because of the brand, the resume line, and the total package buys patience. You don't have that runway, so a slow process isn't just inefficient, it tells a strong candidate exactly what working there will feel like. We're hiring a senior engineer is invisible. What cuts through sounds like this. We're hiring someone to own our reporting platform, rebuild and reduce decision latency across the engineering team. Specific, real scope, real authority, real problem. 1 short screening call, 1 working session that tests judgment, not just syntax, 1 final decision conversation, comp and scope on the table from the start. When you lack brand and budget, speed and clarity become your recruiting advantage. But process gets them to the table. It doesn't close them. What closes them is the offer itself. Strong candidates will accept less money when they're not being treated like high-paid order takers. That's the frame. The offer has to be concrete, not inspirational, not we move fast and huge impact. Actual structure that tells them what they own and what they can do with it. If salary is constrained, say so directly and early. Don't hide the band until round 4. Tell candidates up front, the range is fixed. Where we compete is ownership, autonomy, scope, and access to real decision-making. Candidates who need top-of-market salary, they'll take themselves out. But candidates who want ownership, they're going to lean in. That's the filter doing exactly what a filter should do. There's 3 levers, and all 3 need to be in the offer. The first is decision domains. This is the foundation. A decision domain defines what the candidate owns and, more importantly, what they can decide without waiting for someone above them to sign off. It sounds simple. Almost no one does it in writing before day 1. Here's how it played out with Jay. Jay was a senior staff engineer at a large company. Strong comp, narrow scope. He owned tickets, not outcomes. Architecture decisions waited 48 to 72 hours for leadership approval. His promotion path was tied to annual cycles and whoever was in the room during calibration. He had real skill, but almost no authority to use it. Priya was looking to hire a strong engineer for her team. Priya's offer to Jay wasn't what most leaders reach for when they can't match salaries. We'll get to that. Her offer was concrete. Jay would own the full internal platform modernization initiative from discovery through rollout. Reversible decisions inside his domain wouldn't sit in a queue. They'd get made same day. The escalation triggers were written down before he started. Anything crossing security standards, customer commitments, or budget thresholds goes up the chain. Everything else is his call. That's a different offer, not inspirationally different, structurally different. And for someone in Jay's position, structure is what makes it believable. The second lever is fast path approvals. Decision domains give authority on paper. Fast path approvals make that authority real in practice, because you can tell a candidate they own their domain and then bury them in slow approval system that makes every decision feel like it needs a meeting. Those two things contradict each other, and candidates who've worked at large companies have seen this before. Build a permission system with a clear fast lane. Tools under a set cost threshold, approved by the domain owner. No escalation. Reversible architecture decisions that affect only the team, that's decided by the technical owner. Internal process changes that don't touch customers or compliance, the team lead owns that. Anything crossing security compliance, customer commitments, or meaningful budget thresholds, that escalates. The categories are defined in advance, not negotiated in the moment. What this tells a candidate is simple. You will not spend half your time waiting for permission to do the job you were hired to do. For someone who's been in a slow approval environment, that is not a small thing. That's the reason that they're talking to you in the first place. The third lever is the career lattice. Not everyone wants the same future, and a small company that understands that has a real structural advantage over big tech's rigid promotion tracks. A career leader says, here's the next title. A career lattice says, here are the different directions you can grow. A senior engineer who doesn't want management can move into principal level technical authority with product influence and customer-facing ownership. Same title band, different shape. That's a lattice, not waiting for the next reorg. The three levers work together as a system. Decision domains give real authority. Fast path approvals remove the friction that makes the authority feel hollow. And the career lattice makes the growth path visible and personal, so a candidate can actually see where they're going, not just trust that something good will happen eventually. If you're building an offer right now, drop the role's biggest constraint in the comments. I read every one. Now, back to that trap. When leaders can't match salary, they reach for inspiration instead of architecture. We're building something special, huge growth potential. You'll have a seat at the table. Strong candidates hear something different. They hear undefined scope. They hear under-resourced team. They hear senior judgment wanted at junior compensation. Vision doesn't close the gap. Clarity closes part of it. Ownership closes part of it. A real growth path closes part of it. Vague inspiration just makes good candidates suspicious, and the best ones, they walk. Before your next hire, write down the decision domain for that role, what they own, what they can decide, what triggers escalation. If you can't write it down, you're just not ready to hire. Please subscribe if you're building teams that own things. It really helps us out here. The next video, the decision latency audit for your current team. See you there.